Part 59. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 581. Although Su Yang didn't know why his great-grandfather made an agreement with the 10 ancient tribes to be banned for more than 100 years. But presumably, my great-grandfather must have his own reasons for doing this. Today, Su Yang will inherit his grandfather's wish and safeguard the reform of ancient martial arts. Master Su, why are you doing this? Dongfang Mingri narrowed his eyes slightly and smiled softly. As you just said, the transformation of ancient martial arts has nothing to do with you. There is no need for cultivators in the secret room to wade into this muddy water. Besides, you are only practicing the 9th level of Qi. If you start using your hands, you have no chance of winning. Even if you succeed in building the foundation, you are only in the early stage of building the foundation and still cannot defeat anyone here. Dongfang Mingri threatened, if a fight breaks out and you make another mistake, the gain will outweigh the loss. Although Senior Suwazi sanctioned the 10 ancient clans back then, we have respect for him. You are a descendant of Senior Suwazi, and we do not want to harm you. Dongfang Mingri added, Master Su, I hope you can make the right decision. My great-grandfather asked you not to come out. Now that you have come out, it is my responsibility to fight you back, Su Yang said calmly. Master Su, as a cultivator, you defend the reform of ancient martial arts. Do you think it's appropriate? Dongfang Mingming said with a displeased expression. What nonsense! Su Yang looked around at the 10 young people from the ancient tribe and said impatiently, will you come one by one, or together? He. Dongfang Mingri finally got angry and said coldly, since Mr. Su doesn't know how to appreciate others, don't blame us for being rude. Don't worry, your great-grandfather's life or death is uncertain. Naturally, our top 10 ancient clans will not dare to kill you, lest he come back with force and bring disaster to the ancient clan. Dongfang Mingri changed his tone and said, however, if I accidentally hurt you during the competition, even if Suwaji really returns, I won't blame the ancient tribe. As soon as these words came out, Xiaohaoja next to him felt relieved and looked at Dongfang Mingri with admiration. No wonder Dongfang was so polite to Su Yang tomorrow. It turned out to be for Suwaji's sake. Right. Suwaji is really terrible. He broke the rules and advanced all the way. Now he doesn't know whether he will live or die. He really can't do too much. He should keep a line in everything so that we can meet again in the future. Only now did the Xiaohe family know why the elders of each family clearly informed that the leader this time was Dongfang tomorrow. This person is thoughtful, not chaotic when things happen, and is relatively calm. Although he figured it out, Xiaohaoja was a little disdainful. Throughout the ages, the ancient martial arts world has always been vulnerable. He really doesn't take the people in the ancient martial arts world seriously. Master Su. At this time, Dongfang Mingri smiled softly and added, just now you said that you would set foot on the foundation today. The 10 of us are all in the foundation building realm. For the sake of fairness, Mr. Su, you should build the foundation first. Dongfang Mingri continued, as for the 1-on-10 challenge, let's forget it. Bullying a person in the early stage of foundation building, our top 10 ancient clans cannot afford to lose this person. After you build the foundation, I will designate a member of the ancient tribe to compete with you, Dongfang Mingri said. Don't bother me. I'm building a foundation. I'm not afraid of being disturbed. You can also build a foundation during the battle. Su Yang smiled and said, but since you said it, I'll start building the foundation first. After the words fell, Su Yang closed his eyes slightly, and then suddenly activated the 9 nether prison suppression technique. Buzz. The next moment, a terrifying wave of spiritual energy surged out of Su Yang's body and swept across the entire place. I estimate that this time he is not just building the foundation. He may very well go directly to the middle or late stage of the foundation building. Su Yang calmed down and concentrated on attacking the barrier of the foundation building realm. Nowadays, Su Yang is like an empty bottle. As long as the bottle is filled, everything will be done and he will be able to step into the realm of foundation building. Also, you are a descendant of Suwuji. Suwuji will definitely leave you a trump card. Maybe the Void Tower is on you. This time can completely allow Su Yang to successfully build the foundation, which is why he is sure of a breakthrough in the battle. Before the impact, he used the energy stones in the storage ring to set up a simple formation with his hand, consuming more than 1,000 energy stones. Immediately afterwards, 9 nether prison suppressing art, swallow it for me. Therefore, Xiaohaoja was interested in the Juya prison suppression art. The thing filling the bottle is naturally spiritual energy, so the vast spiritual energy continues to enter Su Yang's body. It must have been left to him by Suwuji. The aura wall guarding him is a bit weird and powerful. With this in his mind, Su Yang continued to absorb spirit stones. Finally, when he drained the last energy stone, he stepped into the realm of foundation building. The 10 young people from the ancient tribe at the scene noticed Su Yang's extraordinary ability and immediately started talking about it. His foundation is the most solid I have ever seen. He shouldn't have stayed at the 9th level of Qi training for more than 10 years. It's just foundation building. I didn't expect to use so many energy stones. It took more than half of what I guessed before. Fortunately, I went to Beishan, otherwise it would have been embarrassing. Humph, no matter how today ends, Su Yang, I will definitely catch you and force you to reveal your skills. Xiaohaoja secretly thought, ha ha ha, Suwuji's fame has crushed an era. It's a pity that his descendants are just trash. What he left behind will soon belong to me. The energy stone in the storage ring exudes dazzling light, and the majestic spiritual energy is continuously absorbed by Su Yang. Among the 10 ancient youths present, the strongest is only in the late stage of foundation building. If you want to destroy the defensive formation, it will take longer. Powerful, no wonder he said that he can build the foundation at any time. It turned out that he deliberately suppressed the realm for so many years. Su Yang has used thousands of energy stones, and there are only a few hundred energy stones left in the storage ring. He has no lack of understanding of the realm. The previous battle with Wang Ye allowed his realm to be precipitated. At this moment, several minutes passed. However, the more energy stones I use, the stronger I will be after building the foundation, haha. Xiaohaoja next to him stared at Su Yang, his eyes full of fire. It doesn't matter, even if he really advances and breaks through, he still can't defeat the 10 of us. Su Yang was very satisfied, took a look inside the storage ring, and then said, there are more than 800 rings, which should be enough to build the foundation. At the 9th level of Qi training, there is such a powerful spiritual energy. What level of skill is he practicing? Dongfang Mingming saw this, with a hint of horror in his eyes. This defensive formation, at the peak of general foundation building, would take several minutes to break through. At this moment, Su Yang roared. Anyone who is a cultivator can tell how powerful this technique is when they see Su Yang perform the 9 nether prison suppression technique. As for Su Yang's surroundings, they were wrapped in these spiritual energies, forming a solid protective barrier that seemed invulnerable. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 582. Buzz. In an instant, Su Yang's whole body exuded an extremely powerful aura, sweeping across the entire place. Build the foundation. The foundation is finally established. Once you enter the foundation building, you are equivalent to a land martial god, ascending to the sky in one step, surpassing all the ancient martial geniuses. At this moment, Ximen Lonjian, Fozawuji, Du Fei Yang, the many geniuses in the audience all had complicated expressions. It turned out that Su Yang had been hiding his clumsiness from beginning to end. He could start building the foundation at any time. He was just perfunctory before. Just imagine, once Su Yang, who is in the foundation building realm, participates in the 100 sex martial arts competition, is there any need to compete? The prodigies who had previously looked down on Su Yang and showed contempt for Su Yang all showed shame on their faces. Build the foundation. I have to build the foundation as soon as possible. Only in this way can I exert the greater power of the 100 poison flags. Lin Yuan, the old poisonous man, looked at Su Yang and murmured. As for Jun Wu next to him, he showed a faint smile and did not have any big mood swings because Su Yang was promoted to foundation establishment. He raised his neck and took a sip of the wine from the wine gourd, as if what was going on at the scene did not attract his attention. Is this the end? The 10 young people from the ancient tribe thought that after Su Yang established the foundation, they would advance one after another, and even reach the middle and late stages of foundation building. But who would have thought that Su Yang's realm only stayed at the early stage of foundation building and did not go any further? The competition can begin now. After building the foundation, Su Yang was full of confidence. He looked around at the 10 young people from the ancient tribe and smiled softly. As I said before, do you all come together, or do you come one by one? Arrogant. Arrogant. These 2 words were performed vividly by Su Yang, which aroused the excitement of many ancient warriors present. Haha, Mr. Su is awesome, Mr. Su is invincible. Whoever dares to fight with a sword is the only descendant of the Su family. Mr. Su, come on, the future of the ancient martial arts world will be left to you. I didn't notice it before, but Mr. Su is so handsome. No wonder Lan Miao and Qian Shangxiu fell in love with him. Even Zhao Ziruo, who was trained by the philanthropic master as his heir, is very fond of Mr. Su. Yes, it would be great if I could also be Mr. Su's woman. I am not interested in the position of the leader's wife, nor do I care about his handsome appearance. In terms of strength, I simply like him as a person. Why don't you pee and take a picture of yourself? You have such a big mouth on your face. No, you have a face on your mouth. Do you think Mr. Su can like you? So what? A big mouth has the advantage of having a big mouth. I, Lulu, am very capable. Maybe Mr. Su likes this posture. Su Yang successfully set foot on the foundation and showed disdain for the 10 ancient youths with every move he made. He instantly gained the favor of the entire audience and even gained a group of little fans. But the 10 young people from the ancient tribe glared angrily at Su Yang, revealing strong anger in their eyes. Especially Xiaohaojia, if it wasn't for Dongfang tomorrow's suppression, he would have rushed forward to fight Su Yang. Master Su. Dongfang tomorrow first stabilized the young man from the ancient tribe behind him, then smiled softly and said, "Your foundation is so solid. According to my inference, you can at least continue to advance and enter the middle stage of foundation building. Why don't you continue to break through?" Really? Dongfang tomorrow made no mistake. Su Yang could indeed continue to break through, but he did not do so. First of all, Su Yang has no spirit stones. When he was promoted to foundation building just now, he just happened to use up all the spirit stones. Breaking through to the middle stage of foundation building requires at least tens of thousands of energy stones, and Su Yang cannot afford to break through. As for the 2 pieces of Taishan essence stone obtained from his eldest cousin, Su Yang did not absorb them. The high-grade spirit stones can quickly restore spiritual energy and may be of great use in the future. Besides, the most important thing when practicing cultivation again is to guard against impatience and impatience. Qi training and foundation building are like building a house and laying a foundation. Only with a solid foundation can future achievements be higher. Your name is Dongfang tomorrow, right? Su Yang looked at Dongfang Mingri, and then said, "Your attitude is quite good. It doesn't matter if I tell you. I don't have any spiritual stones anymore. Do you think that all cultivators are like your ancient tribe, who scoured famous mountains and accumulated a large amount of spiritual stones. Su Yang smiled and then said with a smile, Dongfang tomorrow, you come from one of the ancient tribes and your words are so effective. You must be extremely rich. Why don't you give me some spiritual stones? I don't want much, just give me 100 or 80,000 yuan, I won't mind it. 180,000 yuan. Dongfang Mingri smiled bitterly and said, Mr. Su, you are really talking like a lion. The ancient clan does not have as many spirit stones as you think. TCH, you are stingy. With your current situation, you are destined to never become something great. Su Yang glanced at Dongfang Mingri with disgust, then urged, come on, start the competition quickly, I'm still waiting to start the transformation of ancient martial arts. Master Su, you are only in the early stage of foundation building. If we join together, you will look like a bully. Dongfang Mingri thought for a while and then said, just follow what I said before and send someone to compete with you. Dongfang tomorrow, let me go. Xia Haojia took a step forward, glanced at Su Yang fiercely, and volunteered, this kid is too arrogant. I have been unhappy with him for a long time. I have to tear his mouth open today. No. You are in the late stage of foundation building. You are quite different from Mr. Su. Even if you win, it will be disgraceful. Dongfang Mingri shook his head, then looked at an ancient youth behind him and said, Wen Renai, you are in the middle stage of foundation building. Go up to Mr. Su and ask for advice on 2 moves. Remember, don't be cruel, let alone deadly, just teach him a lesson. Dongfang warned tomorrow, obviously still worried about Su Wuzi's return in the future. Good. When Wen Renai heard this, he jumped onto the ring and looked at Su Yang from afar. As for Xia Haojia, although he was dissatisfied with Dongfang tomorrow's decision, he could only obey. Master Su. At this time, Wen Renai introduced himself and said calmly, I am Wen Renai, the son of the head of the Wenren family. If I offend you later, I hope Mr. Su will respect you. Wen Renai was more polite. Of course, the most likely reason was that the elders in the family had warned him not to provoke Su Wuzi's descendants. Su Yang nodded and said, for the sake of your politeness, I will save you some face and won't hurt you seriously. Haha, Mr. Su, these words are also for you. Wen Renai smiled softly and said, generally speaking, cultivators in the early stages of foundation building cannot last more than 2 minutes in my hands. Yeah. Su Yang smiled playfully, then I'm different from you. You can't bear it for even a second here. Everyone can talk big words, Mr. Su, it's better to be more pragmatic. Wen Renai was talking, but at this moment, Su Yang suddenly took action. A water dragon made of condensed spiritual energy suddenly appeared and hit Wen Renai in the blink of an eye. Poor Wen Renai, before he could finish speaking, Su Yang knocked him off the ring and fell to the ground. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 583. Water Dragon Technique. Although Su Yang has not used it for a while, it does not mean that it is not powerful. Especially after setting foot on the foundation, the spiritual energy in Su Yang's body increased countless times, and then using the Water Dragon Technique, fighting across levels was just a piece of cake. Although Su Yang was only in the early stages of foundation building and had even set foot on it a few minutes ago. But what he practiced was the super-grade technique Juyo suppressing prison Ju, and coupled with the Immortal Emperor's methods, he was completely invincible against the entire foundation. Not to mention Wen Renai, who was in the middle stage of foundation establishment. Even at the peak of foundation establishment, he could still deal with it with confidence, but it just took some effort. Wow! The scene that happened on the ring instantly detonated the whole audience. Both the ancient warriors and the young people of the ancient tribe were all stunned. Damn it, you win now. Well, I blinked just now. What happened? Can anyone tell me? Young Master Su is so strong. As soon as he succeeded in building the foundation, he was able to defeat the middle stage of the foundation building with one move. He jumped into battle and became invincible. What, Mr. Su? That is the leader of our ancient martial arts world, the leader of Su. Yes, yes, Su Yang defeated Taoist Wang Ye and won the first place in the martial arts competition of hundreds of sections. This alliance leader deserves the title. Leader Su. Leader Su. Leader Su. Suddenly, there was a roar and a tsunami, and most of the melon-eating people recognized Su Yang's identity as the leader of the alliance. When Renai, who had been knocked off the ring, stood up at this time. Su Yang was merciful, he was not seriously injured, he didn't even vomit blood, but his expression was a little embarrassed. When Renai originally thought that since he was at a higher level than Su Yang, he could easily win. Even if Su Yang is unusual, he can at most pay some price and defeat Su Yang. But in the end, he was knocked off the stage by Su Yang's move. It was so embarrassing, so embarrassing. But when Renai also understood that Su Yang's strength was much higher than his own, and there was no point in messing around. He cupped his fists and said, "Thank you, Mr. Su, for showing mercy. Well, you can afford to lose, that's good." Su Yang nodded, then turned his gaze to Dongfang tomorrow, and said calmly, "Dongfang tomorrow, whose turn is it next?" Dongfang met Su Yang's gaze tomorrow and frowned in thought. Through Su Yang's action, he had noticed that Su Yang's spiritual energy was extremely pure, even surpassing that of his late-stage foundation establishment. This makes Dongfang tomorrow particularly shocked. It is rare to have such a strong strength just after entering the foundation. Today's competition is about the dominance of ancient martial arts reform, and we must win. So Dongfang Mingri thought about it and finally made a decision, smiling softly and saying, "Master Su, once a man has made a promise, it is hard to keep it back. Is this correct?" Nature. Just now, Mr. Su said that we can go together. I wonder if we can do it now, Dongfang asked directly tomorrow, with a slightly embarrassed expression. Shame. It is really shameful that I have to lead the young people from the ancient tribe to attack a cultivator who has just stepped into the realm of foundation building. But there is nothing Dongfang Ming can do. The right to change the ancient martial arts must be in the hands of the ancient tribe. Worry, you are despicable. These guys from the ancient tribe are so shameless. Alliance leader Su has already suffered a big loss by taking turns fighting them. They actually want to fight together. Where is their face? Leader Su, don't agree to him. Two fists can't beat four hands. Don't be fooled. That's right, Alliance leader Su, so what if you refuse? It's not embarrassing, it's them who are embarrassed. The young man from the ancient tribe behind Dongfang Mingri also looked a little unhappy at this moment. Brother tomorrow, we come from the top 10 ancient tribes and condescend to come to Wudang Mountain. We have our own pride. You want us to join forces to deal with an early stage foundation builder. This, we cannot accept. When Renai is only in the middle stage of foundation building. I have seen the scene that just happened. Su Yang's attack was too sudden. When Renai was unprepared, so he fell into Su Yang's way. You don't need to make a fuss. Who told me? Go and meet him for a while. Dongfang tomorrow, just like you said before, let's do it together. If the news spreads, it will be criticized or not, and it will bring shame to the ancient clan. Although the elders in the family asked me to obey you in everything, I am embarrassed this time. Several young people from the ancient tribe at the scene were passionate and arrogant, and were unwilling to join forces to besiege Su Yang. At that moment, there was a tall young man, with spiritual energy surging from his fist. He rose into the air, and suddenly rushed towards Su Yang. Descendant of the Su family, I come from the Dugu family. My name is Dugu Xin. I come to fight with you. As soon as he finished speaking, Dugu Xin, a tall young man, had already arrived in front of Su Yang. He is also in the middle stage of foundation building, and his fists exude powerful power. He. The 100 generations of reincarnation fist. Su Yang stood there, smiled confidently, then waved his fist and faced Dugu Xin. Boom. 10 old men were watching the battle on the ring. Among these people, 5 are in the middle stage of foundation building and 3 are in the late stage of foundation building. At this time. Vulnerable. 1 second. Dugu Xin only lasted 3 seconds before he let out a scream and his body flew away. It doesn't matter if there are too many people. I'll beat you one by one, the 100 life reincarnation fist. Since Su Yang had just set foot in foundation building, he wanted to get familiar with this realm, so he did not use all his strength, otherwise he would punch a child. Among them was Dongfang Liang, the 300-year-old son of the 11 family of the ancient clan. There is no doubt that Su Yang won again. The next moment, a terrifying battle aftermath rippled around. He had led several strong men from the 11 family to Wudane Mountain a long time ago, so he did not know the later orders of the ancestor of the 11 family. Take action. Originally, they didn't want to join forces because they thought it would be disrespectful and too embarrassing. At this moment, 8 young people from the ancient tribe, including Dongfang Mingri, rose into the air from 8 directions and rushed towards the ring at the same time. Su Yang was not afraid at all, he raised his fist and flew into the air, and started a battle with 8 geniuses from the ancient tribe. Dongfang Mingri and Xia Haojia are both in the late stage of foundation building. Without Su Yang's reminder, Dongfang Mingri had already communicated with the other young people from the ancient tribe with his eyes. 2 seconds. But after seeing Su Yang's power again, the 8 young people from the ancient tribe had solemn expressions. But even if he retained some of his strength, Su Yang still had the upper hand when facing 8 people, and young people from the ancient tribe were shot down one after another. The scene was completely silent, and everyone's eyes stayed on the ring. Dugu Xin fell heavily to the ground, his body sliding on the ground for more than 10 meters, sending up dust all over the sky. Su Yang, on the other hand, was still standing where he was, motionless, with a faint smile on his face. If it was said that the first time he instantly defeated the mid-stage foundation establishment was an accident, but this time, it was a real head-to-head encounter. These 10 people are from the 10 ancient tribes, and they are the senior masters of the ancient tribes. After the scene became calm, everyone looked over again and saw Dugu Xin spitting out a mouthful of blood, covering his injured arm, and his breath became very disordered. 3 seconds. At this time, Su Yang said disdainfully, "Dongfang, tomorrow, you'd better go together, don't waste time." At this moment, seeing Su Yang showing off his power, the 10 old men could no longer calm down. In addition, there is a cultivator from the Nangong family, a young woman in fluttering blue clothes, wrapped in a veil, whose appearance cannot be seen clearly. Soon. Near the Tianji gate, in the dark. The fists of the two collided and they were deadlocked. They also know the importance of Gyawa's leadership in reform, so they no longer worry so much and take action together. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 584. This Su Yang is indeed a descendant of Suwuji. He has just stepped into the foundation building, and he has such terrifying combat power. Dongfang Liang, the top master of foundation building in the 11 family, said rather fearfully, "This boy will definitely become a great player in the future, maybe he will be the next Suwuzi." Based on the current situation, our young people from the top 10 ancient tribes will definitely lose. An old man in Chinese clothes next to him stared at Su Yang from a distance and said in a cold voice, "However, no matter what happens today, the leading power in the transformation of ancient martial arts must be controlled by our 10 ancient tribes, and Su Yang must also control it. Yes, this descendant of the Su family has extraordinary skills. We must not allow him to continue to grow. Another tall old man said in a deep voice, our 10 ancient tribes have been imprisoned by Suwazi for more than 100 years. Now that we have finally gained freedom, I don't want to watch the second Suwazi become invincible in the world. The tall old man came from the Xiahe family and was named Xiahe Yin. He was also at the peak of foundation building. His eyes looked at Su Yang with murderous intent. I agree. I agree too. Several old men around him agreed. But Dongfang Liang hesitated, his eyes fell on the old man in rich clothes, and he said, Dongfang Yao, I know a little bit about what Su Yang has done recently. He killed your illegitimate son Zhang Changsheng and took away the sky sword you gave to Zhang Changsheng. It's understandable that you want to kill him. Dongfang Liang said fearfully, however, Su Wuji's life or death is currently uncertain. We can kill Su Yang now, but if Su Wuji comes back alive, it will be a disaster for the 10 ancient tribes. Zifang Liang, what are you talking nonsense about? I don't have an illegitimate child, so don't slander me. The old man in gorgeous clothes was Dongfang Yao. He said angrily at this moment and quickly put aside his relationship with Zhang Changsheng. Come on, what are you pretending to be in front of us old guys? Who doesn't know your bad things, Dongfang Liang replied, not saving face for Dongfang Yao at all. What am I pretending to be? I have been innocent all my life, how could I have an illegitimate child? Dongfang Yao gritted his teeth. Haha, how do you explain the sky sword? Dongfang Liang got into a fight with him and said, as far as I know, the sky sword is a precious treasure of your Dongfang family. It has always been passed down only to the talented geniuses. Why did it suddenly appear in front of an ancient warrior with no background or ordinary talent, in your hand? Dongfang Yao, how do you explain it? You don't want to say that Zhang Changsheng picked up the sky sword himself, Dongfang Liang said with a smile. Snort. You're so right. Dongfang Yao refused to admit it and said, my Dongfang family's sky sword has been lost a long time ago. It was indeed picked up by Zhang Changsheng. Damn it, you are so thick-skinned. You are chewing dog shit and swinging on a swing, and you refuse to admit it. Dongfang Liang was almost speechless, and finally sighed and said, hey, forget it, I understand your situation. Your wife is the eldest lady of the Nangong family, with a distinguished status. You are afraid that the other party will know that you have an illegitimate child, which will affect both of your families. Friendship. I understand, Dongfang Yao, I wrongly blamed you. You don't have an illegitimate child. Dongfang Liang said unscrupulously. At the same time, he glanced at the sloppy old man not far away and emphasized, Senior Nangong, that Zhang Changsheng is not Dongfang Yao's illegitimate son. Dongfang Liang. Dongfang Yao was so angry that he stared at Dongfang Liang angrily, his eyes filled with rage, wanting to tear Dongfang Liang apart. Okay, stop making noise and just be quiet. At this time, the sloppy-looking old man suddenly spoke. The sloppy old man, named Nangong Yin, comes from the Nangong family and is senior to everyone present. He also has another identity, that is, he is the old head of the Nangong family, and he is the same generation as 11 Louis of the 11 family. Although Nangong Yin is also at the peak of foundation building, there is a huge gap between the peak of foundation building and the peak. Let's put it this way, in addition to these 10 people, there were 30 peak foundation building people on site, hiding in the dark. However, any one of these 10 people can defeat those at the peak of foundation building. If Dongfang Liang, Dongfang Yao and Xia Huyan join forces, they can even wipe out all 30 of the top foundation builders. And Nangong Yin, by himself, can use his true fire to wipe out all the peak foundation building players on the scene, including the 9 people from Dongfang Liang and Dongfang Yao. Nangongyan's strength is obvious. This time when we come to Wudang Mountain, the leader among the younger generation is Dongfang Mingri, and the leader of the older generation is Nangongyan. Therefore, when Nangongyan spoke, the scene instantly fell silent. Dongfang Liang and Dongfang Yao did not dare to say any more. Dongfang Yao. Nangongyan's eyes fell on Dongfang Yao and said calmly, I shouldn't have interfered with your family affairs with Shue'er, but the matter of having an illegitimate child is big or small. There are some things I must remind you. You are the head of the Dongfang family, and you have great responsibilities. Dongfang Liang just said that Zhang Changsheng is dead. Let the past matter be in the past. Treat Shue'er well in the future and don't let her down. Nangongyan reminded, Shue'er's importance to our Nangong family is more important than you think. If you do anything wrong to her again, our Nangong family, with the whole family's strength, will make you pay the price. Senior Nangong, I understand. Dongfang Yao nodded and promised, I won't do it anymore. Haha, I won't do it again. Dongfang Liang grasped the handle and said with a playful smile, Dongfang Yao, doesn't this mean that you have done something sorry for Nangong Shui before? After all, Zhang Changsheng is still your illegitimate son. West. Fang. Liang, Dongfang Yao was furious. You can also call me by my name at will. Dongfang Liang smiled softly and said, have you forgotten your father's name? It is said that it was early in the morning when he was born, but there was no sunrise that day and the sky was gloomy, so he was named Dongfang, not bright. When I was born, even though it was evening, the sunset was infinitely beautiful, so my father named me, 11 Liang. If the east is not bright, the west is bright. Haha, judging from our names, your father and I are of the same generation. Dongfang Liang said in the tone of an elder, so, Dongfang Yao, you better be polite to me, don't be too big or too small. You. Dongfang Yao was furious and was about to take action immediately. Shut up, everyone. At this time, Nangongyan looked at the ring and said calmly, the juniors are going to lose, it's our turn to take action. Dongfang Yao is right, Su Yang is too evil to stay. Today, all the ancient warriors on Wudang Mountain must die and be eradicated. Even if Su Wazi does come back, we don't have to be afraid, no one will know it was us. As Nangongyan opened his mouth, many foundation building peaks on the scene reached a unified opinion and waited for the opportunity to come. At the same time, the competition on the ring came to an end. Su Yang didn't even use the sky sword. In the end, he gathered several water dragons one after another and defeated all the ancient youths. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 585. At this moment, except for Wen Renai and Dugu Xian, who had been defeated by Su Yang before, the remaining 8 young people from the ancient tribe were all lying under the ring, clutching their chests and showing pain. Lost. The 8 of them joined forces to besiege Su Yang, who had just stepped into the foundation building. They thought they would win, but the result was unexpected. Wow! This scene caused an uproar on the scene, and all the ancient warriors were excited. Holy shit, oh shit, oh shit, Alliance leader Su, the eternal god. 8 foundation building masters, including 3 in the late stage of foundation building, finally lost to Alliance leader Su. Ha ha ha, I laughed to death. Leader Su, come and see, everyone, I caught 8 people who were alone. It turns out Gu Wu isn't that scary after all. He's just too good. It's not that they are too weak, but that Alliance leader Su is too strong. A group of people were excited and looked at Su Yang excitedly. Complete victory. This is so exciting. The ancient martial arts people on the high seat looked at each other in shock. No one expected that Su Yang would win. Interesting. Ximen Fenjiun sat upright and looked at Su Yang with a smile on his face, wondering what he was thinking. Haha, Mr. Su, good, good, well done. Zhang Tianli has a straightforward personality and stood up directly, clapping his hands. Brother Zhang, it's a little inappropriate to call him Mr. Su now. Wan Kongyun next to him smiled softly and said, Su Yang has achieved first place in the martial arts competition of 100 sects and is already the leader of the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance. Haha, yes, yes, how could I forget this? Alliance Leader Su, Alliance Leader Su. Zhang Tianli pressed the animal skin drum with one hand and said with a smile, Su Yang will be the leader of the alliance, and I, the Zhang family of Fenyang City, agree with both hands. Master Ximen. Wan Kongyun looked at Ximen Fenjiun next to him and said with a smile, Brother Fenjiun, do you agree with Su Yang being the leader of the alliance? This is something that was decided by the one more than 100 years ago. Is it useful if I don't agree? Ximen Fenjiun smiled softly and said, the position of alliance leader is given to him, it's just a false name. The meaning of this is obvious. Su Yang can be the leader of the alliance, but everyone does not have to follow his orders. Wan Kongyun naturally heard this meaning, but he knew the relationship between Su Yang and the Ximen family, so he didn't say anything more. Master Su, we lost. At this moment, Dongfang Mingri and others stood up. Among them, Dongfang Mingri clasped his fists and said, we are willing to admit defeat. We will leave here and no longer stop the transformation of Gwu. Haha, that's right. My mercy is not in vain. Su Yang nodded with satisfaction after hearing this. Still showing mercy? Dongfang Mingming was a little embarrassed and couldn't help but ask, Master Su, can you tell me, did you use all your strength just now? Give me some spiritual stones and I'll tell you. Su Yang smiled playfully upon hearing this. Dongfang tomorrow hesitated for a long time, finally made up his mind, gritted his teeth and said, okay. Su Yang didn't expect that Dongfang tomorrow would agree so happily. He immediately became excited and his eyes fell on Dongfang tomorrow. But the scene that happened next made him stunned and a little confused. I saw Dongfang tomorrow taking out a bunch of snacks from the storage ring, big and small bags. Dry noodles, Mila Su, Mickey Snow cookies, Oreos, Wulong spicy strips, cookies, even, in the end, I got 2 packs of snail noodles. Dongfang tomorrow, what do you mean? Su Yang asked doubtfully. Mr. Su, don't you want snacks? These are the snacks I have at the bottom of the box, especially the snail noodles, my favorite, and now they are all for you. Dongfang tomorrow looked at Su Yang with a smile on his face, and then said, can you tell me now whether you have used all your strength? Su Yang said unhappily, Nima, what I want is spiritual stones, not snacks. Do you want me a homophonic joke? I don't care about that. I'll give you the snacks anyway, Mr. Su. Once you make a promise, it's hard to keep it. A man must keep his word. Dongfang started to act rogue tomorrow. This. Su Yang put the snacks into the storage ring with a dark face. After all, he couldn't take it back after he said it, so he sent a message from his soul and told Dongfang tomorrow. Dongfang Mingri's face changed slightly when he heard this, and he looked at Su Yang with very complicated eyes. In the end, he left the scene with the Jumingwa youth without saying anything. Before Xiaohaoja left, he glanced at Su Yang gloomily, obviously unwilling to do so. But he couldn't disobey Dongfang tomorrow's wishes, and he also understood that he was no match for Su Yang, so he had to leave first. But Xiaohaoja had made up his mind. When he saw the elders in his family, he had to ask them to take action, catch Su Yang, and force him to practice the exercises. Just like that, 10 young people from the ancient tribe came and went in a hurry. Leader Su. Leader Su. Leader Su. After watching the 10 young people from the ancient tribe walk away, the scene was filled with roaring waves and the crowd was in great excitement. Su Yang showed a smile, ignored the on-site referee, looked directly at Wang Kongyun, and asked, "Master Wang, can you take me to the Tianji sect hall now to start the transformation of ancient martial arts?" "Okay." Wang Kongyun nodded, then his eyes fell on the people around him, and he said with a smile, "Everyone, let's go and witness the transformation of ancient martial arts together." Shi Hehan, Zhang Tianli, Qian Shangxiu, Du Kun, Charity Shitai, Abbot Yuan Tong, Su Yufeng, etc., naturally have no objections. But Ximen Fenjian said, "I won't go there. I am a cultivator and you all know my relationship with Su Yang, so I won't cause any trouble for you." After leaving a few words, Ximen Fenjian jumped away from the scene without any nostalgia. Su Yang looked at Ximen Fenjian's back and did not stop him. The monk could run away, but he could not run away from the temple. Soon he would go to Kunlun and settle the past grievances. Next, Wang Kongyun and many secrets entered the Tianji sect hall together with Su Yang. "Ali, don't follow me. I noticed a group of old people outside, but they didn't leave. They should be people from the top 10 ancient tribes. You are guarding outside. Don't worry about me." Now I set foot on the foundation building and faced the foundation building. At the peak, he also has the ability to protect himself. Before entering the main hall, Su Yang secretly sent a message to Ali, and then walked into the main hall with peace of mind. As the door of the main hall closed, the hearts of all the ancient warriors present were clenched, and they were full of expectations for the upcoming transformation of the ancient martial arts. At the same time, the 10 people from Dongfang tomorrow did not join Nangongyan and others who were hiding in the dark, but came outside Wudaing ancient town. The 10 young people from the ancient tribe left separately. At this moment, only the veiled woman from the Nangong family was with Dongfang Mingri. She didn't shy away. She went up and took Dongfang Mingri's arm, and said with a smile, "Tomorrow, that Su Yang, what did the soul say to you? Miss Nangong Yue, please respect yourself. Men and women are not allowed to have sex." Dongfang Mingri struggled to shake off the other party's arm. "I bother." Nangong Yue rolled her eyes at Dongfang Mingri, curled her lips and said, "Dongfang Mingri, why are you pretending when there is no one around? Put away your disguise jade pendant for me." When Dongfang tomorrow heard this, he suddenly showed a playful smile, and then a light flashed, and she actually had physical characteristics that only women can have. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 586. Woman. Good. One of the 10 ancient clans, Dongfang tomorrow of the Dongfang family, is not a boy, but a girl. Like Sun Yuxuan, the descendant of Medicine King, she both wears a jade pendant. As long as it is turned on, she can change her gender and turn herself into a man. Unless she is too powerful, she cannot be broken. Even those old monsters from the ancient tribe can't tell who they are. But Nangong Yue is Dongfang tomorrow's best friend, so she naturally knows Dongfang tomorrow's situation. "Yue, please stop cuddling with me. After all, everyone thinks I'm a man. If you hold my arm often, gossip will spread outside." Dongfang regained his daughter's back tomorrow and said playfully, "I'm not a big deal, but it will have a bad impact on your reputation. Some people will gossip. Tch, I don't care." Nangong Yue curled her lips, then said, "In the worst case, I'll marry you, so no one will gossip, and my reputation will be preserved." Puff. Dongfang Mingri couldn't help but laugh out loud, and said repulsively, "Yue, are you stupid? I am a mother, a mother. I want to get married myself, how can I marry you?" "Married?" Nangong Yue looked at Dongfang Mingri and smiled softly, "Stop dreaming. Don't I understand your family's situation? Your grandfather's lineage has been passed down to your generation, and you are the only descendant. And your eldest grandfather and second grandfather, they are both eyeing each other. They all want to take away the control of the Dongfang family. Nangong Yowei smiled playfully and said, in order to maintain the status of your lineage, your grandfather asked for the yin-yang jade pendant to let you disguise yourself as a man. When you grow up, you will inherit the position of the head of the Dongfang family. Under such circumstances, how could your grandfather let you get married? Now that you are quite old, if nothing else happens, your family will probably arrange a marriage for you soon. Nangong Yowei continued, it's great that you married me. Anyway, I know your true gender and will keep it a secret for you. Yowei, what have you been thinking about all day? I don't want to marry a woman. Dongfang tomorrow seemed very repulsive and asked curiously, by the way, don't you long for love? It would be great to have a romantic encounter with your favorite Prince Charming. Why do you want to marry a woman like me? Although there are many tricks now and all kinds of electric toys are popular, they are fake after all. The opposite sex is true love, Dongfang Mingri added with a smirk. Tomorrow, I'm going to die. What kind of electric toy? How could such words come out of your mouth? Nangong Yowei rolled her eyes at Dongfang Mingri, and then said, I don't want to marry those stinky men. Men are not good. I, Nangong Yowei, will never marry a man even if I am single for the rest of my life. Puff. When Dongfang Mingri heard this, he couldn't help laughing again, and then said, Yowei, don't say it so absolutely. You have never experienced the beauty of a man, that's why you say this. What do you mean, you have never experienced tomorrow, right? Nangong Yowei's eyes widened instantly. What nonsense are you talking about? I didn't. Dongfang Mingri's face turned red and she said firmly. No, no, why are you blushing? Ahaha, I understand. Nangong Yowei suddenly thought of something, and then smiled playfully. Tomorrow, will you use the jade pendant to turn into a man behind you and touch your own, ahem. Ah, Yowei, don't talk nonsense, I didn't. Dongfang Mingri's face turned even redder, and he quickly reached out and covered Nangong Yowei's mouth to prevent her from continuing to speak. Hey, I won't talk about the head office. Nangong Yowei took Dongfang Mingri's hand, and then whispered, tomorrow, when you have time, can you transform into a man and let me experience it? Impossible. You're dreaming. Dongfang Mingri refused directly and said righteously, Nangong Yowei, give up on this idea, I am a girl, I am a girl. Oh well. Nangong Yowei curled his lips, a little disappointed, then thought of Su Yang, and said, by the way, tomorrow, that descendant of the Su family, such a monster, can defeat us as soon as he sets foot on the foundation. Why don't you let the person hiding in the dark the pinnacle of foundation building surges out and eradicates the roots? This is it. When Dongfang heard this tomorrow, he smiled and explained, Su Yang's recent deeds have long been spread to the 10 ancient clans. He killed Zhang Changsheng from the Iron Fist sect, and Zhang Changsheng was the illegitimate son of my great-grandfather Dongfang Yao. Dongfang Mingri continued, my uncle is at home and always opposes me. Su Yang killed Zhang Changsheng. I am somewhat grateful to him. In addition, we agreed before the competition that if we lose, we will leave Wudang Mountain. It's hard for me to keep my word. Dongfang Mingri raised the corner of his mouth and continued, of course, the most important thing is that before coming to Wudang, someone called me to plead for Su Yang. Oh? Who? Nangong Yowei asked doubtfully. My cousin, Sun Yuxuan, Dongfang Mingri said. Is that the descendant of the Medicine King Palace? Dongfang tomorrow nodded and said, my cousin's situation is very similar to mine. Even the yin-yang jade pendant on my body came from the Sun family. She also has to show herself as a man because of inheritance issues. We too share the same problem. Dongfang Mingri sighed and continued, before coming, we were talking on the phone. I told her about coming to Wudang Mountain. She asked me to help Su Yang within my ability, and I agreed to her. How does Sun Yuxuan know Su Yang? Nangong Yue asked doubtfully. In addition to being a descendant of the Su family, Su Yang also has another identity, the master of the Medicine King Palace. Dongfang Mingri said, the Sun family established the Medicine King Palace, but later, due to some reasons, the medical sage Zhang Zhongjing also entered the Medicine King Palace. From then on, the position of the Lord of the Palace, the members of the two families, those who can live there. In short, the things here are very complicated and cannot be explained in a few words, but the strength of the Medicine King Sun family is no weaker than our 10 ancient clans. Dongfang Mingri smiled softly and said, my cousin was born with no wisdom and cannot cultivate. She can only practice ancient martial arts. Her talent is average, but she is very knowledgeable in medicine and is very obsessed with it. Some time ago, the Medicine King Palace held a conference of doctors. She went to participate, but lost to Su Yang. She must have met Su Yang at that time. Dongfang Mingri continued, my cousin is dedicated to safeguarding the Medicine King Palace, and Su Yang has become the master of the Medicine King Palace, so it is natural for her to plead for Su Yang, and I will naturally give her this face. So that's it? Nangong Yue nodded, and then said, what about the ancient martial arts reform? Do we really want Su Yang to start the ancient martial arts reform? Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 587. This. Dongfang Mingri paused, then smiled, and said, this is not a problem we have to consider. Do you think our elders will trust us to bring people to Wudang? What do you mean, are the old masters of the ancient tribe here too? Nangong Yue said in surprise, obviously not knowing about this. Dongfang Mingri nodded and said, here they are probably in Wudang Mountain right now. Xiaohaoja, Wen Renai, Dugu Xian and the rest of them are probably all called back by the souls of their elders. They may all be reunited with their elders now, must be to prevent Su Yang from starting the revolution in ancient martial arts. That's not right. If this is the case, there must be elders from our Nangong family coming over. Why didn't I receive a message from the soul? Nangong Yue asked in confusion. If nothing else happens, the person coming from our Dongfang family this time should be my great-grandfather Dongfang Yao. Dongfang Mingri guessed, he has been unhappy with me for a long time, so naturally he won't send me a message. As for you, the person who must be here is your ancestor Nangong Yin. He has a conservative mind and is still stuck in the era when men were superior to women. He felt that women should not participate in big events, so he didn't inform you, Dongfang Mingri said. Indeed, my ancestor was too chauvinistic. No, it should be old man chauvinism. Nangong Yue was a little angry, and then asked doubtfully, tomorrow, since no one informed me, how did you know? Guess Dongfang Mingri said. Tomorrow, you are so smart. I feel so safe being with you. Just marry me, Nangong Yue suddenly said with admiration. Go away, I like men. I, Dongfang tomorrow, don't have any wishes in this life. I just hope that God can give me a healthy and strong man that I love in my lifetime. Dongfang tomorrow prayed earnestly, and then began to wear the jade pendant. The physical characteristics that were originally belonging to women gradually disappeared. She became a man again. Next. Young Master Pian Dongfang will leave Wudang Mountain with Nangong Yue tomorrow. Although she guessed that Wudang Mountain would not be peaceful in the future, she did not want to wade into troubled waters. At this moment, Wudang Mountain. 30 top foundation builders were hiding in the dark, waiting for orders. Nangong Yin, Dongfang Liang, Dongfang Yao and other 10 people were not in a hurry to take action. In addition, Xiaohaoja, Wen Renai, Du Guxian and other young talents from the younger generation have all arrived. In Xiaohaoji couldn't wait to say, Senior Nangong, the descendants of the Su family must have entered the hall to start the ancient martial arts revolution. What are we waiting for? Why not rush in directly, kill everyone, and stop the revolution? Others at the scene also looked at Nangong Yin, obviously wondering why Nangong Yin didn't give the order yet. Not in a hurry. Nangong Yin smiled softly and said, there is an old friend who is on his way here. When he comes, we will catch them all to avoid any fish slipping through the net. I know something about the transformation of ancient martial arts. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes at least half an hour before it can be fully launched. We have a chance to stop it, Nangong Yin explained. Old friend? Catch them all? After everyone asked, they were immediately confused. Haha, an old friend is here. At this moment, Nangong Yin suddenly showed a playful smile. Let's go, it's our turn to take action. The words fell. Nangong Yin then led Dongfang Yao, Dongfang Liang, and others, several young juniors, and 30 foundation building peaks, and walked out of the darkness. A group of more than 50 people appeared in everyone's field of vision in a mighty and imposing manner. Holy shit, look, there are a lot of people coming over there. Who are they? The aura on them is so strong. Isn't that young man from the ancient tribe? His name seems to be Xiaohaoji. Didn't he leave? Why did he come back? Those old guys next to him, are they the seniors of the ancient tribe? That's for sure. From the looks of them, I'm afraid they're here with bad intentions and something bad will happen. Now, many ancient warriors, no matter the sect leaders of small sects or the young geniuses, gathered outside the Tianji sect main hall. At this moment, when they saw Nangong Yin and others appearing, they were all frightened and began to feel uneasy. Originally this object was stolen by Suzing, but Suzing was escorted back to Zhifeng Mountain by Qian Shangxiu, and 1,000 Years Kill took it back. He was dressed in linen clothes, his hair and beard were all white, and he was not tall, but the aura emanating from his body was heart-stopping. Standing next to Nangong Yin were Dongfang Yao, Xiang Liang, and others, and next to him were the descendants of the Xiaohe family and Wen Renai. Fu Ma, here we come. Immediately afterwards, an old woman with a hunched body and a wrinkled face slowly walked over in full view of everyone. Surround this place and prohibit anyone from leaving alive, then Nangong Yin gave the order. They stood outside the Tianji Gate Hall, but did not enter immediately. Yes. Haha, those who don't know are fearless and will kill for thousands of years. Look here. There are 30 or 40 peak foundation builders. Do you think you alone can stop me? Nangong Yin sneered. Kill for 1,000 years. With such a powerful team, the ancient warriors present had no power to resist. At this time, 30 peak foundation builders are equivalent to 30 peak land martial gods. Unexpectedly, after Nangong Yin finished speaking, an old and unmistakable voice came from the distance. Now that Wu Qingying is dead, he has been killed for 1,000 years. In my eyes, you are just an ant. With the treasure in hand, Millennium Killer was extremely confident at this moment, and Zhou Shen's power became even stronger. Haha, 1,000 Years Kill, you old guy, your strength has improved a lot. Not only has you reached the peak of the martial god, but your aura is so strong, you must have got a lot of opportunities from that treasure, right? Nangong Yin stared at the old man in linen clothes, sneered. Haha, 1,000 years of killing, you, a man who relied on his wife to rise to prominence, what right do you have to be arrogant? A few old friends are here, why don't you show up? Then, how about adding me? Just by raising their hands, several ancient warriors from Tianzone who escaped turned into blood and died without their bodies intact. Suddenly, an old figure appeared in front of everyone in an instant. 30 cultivators at the peak level of foundation building, upon receiving Nangong Yin's order, immediately dispersed and spread their spiritual consciousness at the same time. Some people even saw that the situation was not good and wanted to escape, but Nangongyin took action to kill them. Nangongyin, I haven't seen you for more than 100 years, but your alertness has improved a lot. Snored. Hearing this, Nangongyin sneered, if it hadn't been for your wife Wu Qingying, would you have obtained this treasure? If Su Yang saw it, he would be shocked. This turned out to be the 4th floor of the Void Tower. Qian Sha snorted coldly, his eyes were extremely gloomy, and the true energy in his body rioted. You are the arrogant person, my strength is enough to deal with you. At this time, Nangongyin suddenly raised his head and sneered into the air, if you don't show up again, I will rush into the hall and destroy the ancient martial arts revolution. As soon as the old man in sackcloth appeared, his terrifying power stirred up billowing dust, forming a small tornado that swept across the entire place. As he spoke, Qianqiansha opened his palms, and an object the size of a palm suddenly appeared in his palms. Nangongyin, stop talking nonsense. Millennium Killer met Nangongyin's gaze and said solemnly, with me here today, you can't even think of entering the hall and destroying the ancient martial arts revolution. This old man in sackcloth is Qian Shangxiu's grandfather, the old leader of Zhifeng Mountain, a 1,000-year killer. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 588. Swish, swish, swish. As soon as Fu Ma appeared, everyone's eyes fell on her. It's her. I met her more than 20 years ago. That's right, a descendant of the Su family also participated in that 100-sex martial arts competition. It was this old woman who accompanied us throughout the whole process. At that time, many forces involved in the destruction of the Su family in Kunlun wanted to leave descendants of the Su family, but no one dared to take action. This is the last member of the Su family. It is said that she is called Miss Furong. More than 100 years ago, she single-handedly fought her way out and rescued Su Wuji's biological son Sukinkan. Unexpectedly, Senior Furong still alive. Great, the 10 ancient clans are going to invade the main hall and destroy the ancient martial arts revolution. Senior Millennium Killer from Zhifeng Mountain has come forward. Now there is another Senior Furong, who may be able to stop the 10 major ancient clans. For a time, everyone was talking a lot, and they all pinned their hopes for Gilwa's reform on Fu Ma and Millennium Killer. The 30 foundation building peak people around them all looked uncomfortable after Fu Ma appeared, and they obviously felt tremendous pressure. Nangongyin paused slightly, obviously not aware of Fu Ma's arrival in advance. But after the brief surprise, Nangongyin showed a smile and said in greeting, Miss Furong, long time no see. Nangongyin. Fu Ma stopped, met Nangongyin's gaze, and said lightly, it has indeed been a long time. The last time I followed Master to visit the Nangong family was probably more than 140 years ago. Yes. Nangongyin recalled, at that time, Miss Furong, you were still a little girl. I didn't expect that now, half of your body is buried in the loess. If you had followed your master, Su Wuji, to cultivate, maybe you would have been able to keep your appearance forever and not have aged like this. Nangongyin looked at Fu's mother and asked curiously, Miss Furong, have you ever regretted practicing ancient martial arts? No. Fu Ma shook her head and said seriously, Master told me before he left that in a few years, Gilwa will inevitably undergo a change and grow into the second largest system not inferior to Xiaojhan. Counting the days, it should be today, yeah, why should I regret it? Haha, I really don't know about this news. Originally, I didn't know whether Gilwa's reform was good or bad. Listening to what you said, I can't let Gilwa's reform go smoothly. Nangongyin narrowed her eyes slightly and smiled, Miss Furong, listen to my advice and leave. I will pretend that nothing happened. Maybe you don't know that Su Yang, a descendant of the Su family, won first place and became the leader of the ancient martial arts alliance. he is starting the ancient martial arts revolution in the main hall. Nangongyan stroked his beard and said, "Don't worry, for Suwaji's sake, I won't hurt him, and I can let you take him away with you." Original. Nangongyan planned to eliminate the root cause, kill Su Yang, and destroy everyone present at the same time. But after seeing Fu Ma, Nangongyan was a little afraid, and coupled with the 1,000 Years Killer holding a heavy treasure, his strength should not be underestimated. Therefore, Nangongyan didn't want to start a big war, so he changed his mind and just stopped the reform of Gyewu. The reform of ancient martial arts is a plan arranged by my master Suwaji and that powerful man. No one is allowed to stop it. Nangongyan, I will never give in on this matter. Fu Ma stared at Nangongyan with sharp eyes and said solemnly, "I can give you a chance to leave Wudang Mountain with people from the 10 ancient tribes." Haha, in that case, there is no room for negotiation, so don't blame me. Nangongyan sneered and said, "This time I brought 30 or 40 top foundation builders. Just the two of you, I'm afraid you can't stop me." After the words fell, Nangongyan used his eyes to signal the ancient master to take action. "Miss Furong, I have been to Kunlun Mountain and received guidance from Senior Suwazi. Do you still remember me?" At this time, Qianqinsha looked at Fu's mother with a very polite attitude. "Do not remember." Fu Ma shook her head and said, "But I have an impression of your wife, Wu Qingying, the #1 person in the peak of martial arts. Is she okay now?" The old poisonous man Lin Yuan's eyes fell on Jun Wu, and he suddenly said, "People from the ancient clan are trying to stop the transformation of the ancient martial arts, won't you take action?" After a long silence, Ximen Longjin shook his head and showed a wry smile. The geniuses who had previously participated in the 100 Sex martial arts competition watched the fighting ahead from a distance, and fell into silence collectively. "Qingying, hey, forget it, let's not mention it." Seeing this, Millennium Killer held the 4th floor of the Void Tower and joined the melee. But there is no end to the journey of cultivation. Just look at it and don't be too attached. But, haha, Miss Furong, I didn't expect that your understanding of the realm of the martial god would reach this level. I'm ashamed of myself. Fu Ma said in a calm tone, and then the Genkai surged around her body, directly killing the 30 peak foundation builders. But the moment Fu Ma took action, she repelled the two of them, and then got entangled with 30 foundation building peaks. Many melon-eating people retreated one after another to avoid being affected by the aftermath of the battle. The peak of foundation establishment is equal to the peak of martial god. 130 were not weak at all. The real energy was everywhere and the spiritual energy was raging. But Mrs. Fu said straightforwardly, "If your wife Wu Qingying is present, maybe the situation can be changed. Just take charge of the situation, leave it to me to kill." For a moment, Zhao's Hiruo, Shama Shai, Mr. Modeo and many other talented people all looked towards the main hall. Who says ancient warriors are inferior to cultivators? Come on, two seniors. In the crowd. Senior Suwaji has given me some advice. If I had known about it in advance, I would have definitely gone to Kunlun to help the Su family. It's a pity that by the time I knew about it, the Su family had already been destroyed. It was too late. As you say, millennium killing is a bit embarrassing. Although, I am not as good as my wife, but I can't say it so directly, right? Today, let us join forces and kill indiscriminately in Wudang Mountain to tell the 10 ancient tribes that the ancient martial arts world is no longer a soft persimmon. Buddha disciple Wuji put his hands together and recited the Buddha's name. It's useless for you to come, you can't help. But I'm lucky. I have a treasure in my possession and a blessing from it, but I won't lose to you. Qian shak off twice and then said, Miss Furong, we can finally fight side by side. After so many years of silence, we old guys should do something for the ancient clan. Is this the peak of martial god and the peak of foundation establishment? I'm still far away. Miss Furong and Senior Qian Shat are so strong. Two of them beat 30 people, and they still had the upper hand. I wonder if the ancient martial arts revolution can still be started. Du Fei Yang, who was standing next to him, couldn't help but mutter to himself. Although he said this, there was a trace of yearning in his eyes. Qian Sha sighed, and then said, Miss Furong, the major sects acted too suddenly about the destruction of Kunlun Mountain more than 100 years ago. I am in Jufeng Mountain and I know nothing about it. Next, you can see that the two of them are fighting against 30 peak foundation building players. Ahem. These 30 foundation building peaks are from the 10 ancient tribes, and they are all top-notch masters. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 589. Jun Wu paused for a moment, then turned to meet Lin Yuan's gaze, took a sip of wine, and then said with a smile, You are joking, I am only half-step to build the foundation, how can I be qualified to take action? Are you building a foundation in half a step? Lin Yuan showed a smile and said playfully, Haha, you can fool others, but you can't fool me. This wine gourd of yours should be a treasure of the Duanmu family. Your status in the Duanmu family must not be low. Lin Yuan continued, if I read it correctly, your strength can be compared with that of Nangong Yin. Are you from the same era? When Jun Wu heard this, he suddenly became serious and said seriously, Who told you? I told you, you can't fool me. If you think about it carefully, we are all from the same era, Lin Yuan said unhurriedly. Lin Yuan, old poisoner, he, it is true that people become more sophisticated as they get older, no wonder they are said to be old and cunning, Jun Wu said with a smile. Lin Yuan said calmly, to each other. Old poison, Bai Zong Hui Wu, you have hidden your strength, why don't you expose it? Jun Wu asked. You are stronger than me. Even if I try my best, I still can't defeat you. Instead of doing this, it's better to just show off and fight casually. Lin Yuan continued, my goal has never been to be the first in 100 sex martial arts competitions. Oh. Jun Wu asked, I can sense that there is a powerful force in you. What exactly do you want to do? What do you want to do again? Lin Yuan met Jun Wu's gaze and asked. Forget it if you don't tell me. I hope we are not doing it for the same thing, otherwise don't blame me for being rude, Jun Wu threatened. Same thing, I'll give it to you too. Lin Yuan said calmly, then stopped talking to Jun Wu and looked up to watch the fight ahead. In the corner, Wang Fugui, Zhang Magu, Shi Jushan and others watched from a distance, feeling extremely anxious. As for Ali, she stood aside. She hid herself well and did not attract the attention of Nangong Yin and others. At this moment, Ali looked at Nangong Yin intentionally or unintentionally, frowning slightly. She had already felt how powerful Nangong Yin was, and she was slightly afraid, but at the same time, a strong desire to fight arose in her heart. But Nangong Yin didn't take action, so Ali could only watch from the sidelines. Bide your time. The other side. Lan Miao was alone, covered with a veil, watching all this silently. Nowadays, Su Yang has successfully won the first place in the 100 sex martial arts competition and fulfilled the agreement with her. Lan Miao originally wanted to leave, but after Su Yang entered the hall, the 10 ancient tribes joined forces to attack. She was mixed in the crowd and was stared at by the Peak Foundation establishment, and could no longer leave. Even if she could leave, Lan Miao didn't want to leave, and was very worried about Su Yang's safety. Master Su, according to the agreement made by the great geniuses, whoever wins the first place in the martial arts competition of 100 sects will be qualified to own me. You successfully won first place, and now I am already your woman. Lan Miao I murmured to herself, Master Su, I hope you are safe and sound. At this moment, in the main hall, Wang Konggyun and others had noticed the movement outside, but did not go out. Fuma. Miss Furong, she is actually Mother Furong. At this time, Su Yang felt Fuma's breath and heard Fuma's voice. He was sure that Fuma was here and was stunned. After reacting, Su Yang showed a wry smile. It turns out that the god of war is beside me, but I didn't know that Fuma was hiding deep enough. Immediately afterwards, Su Yang nodded, put away his little thoughts, and then followed Wang Konggyun deep into the hall. As soon as these words came out, many people from the ancient martial arts world at the scene looked away. At the same time, a powerful force formed a square barrier, surrounding Su Yang. On the surface, Su Yang looked like a prisoner, imprisoned by the light curtain. Creation is not easy, thank you for your hard work. If you have time, please give me a free gift. In addition, Qian Shangxiu was embarrassed, and said with a blushing face, how long has it been, and you still say such things? Let's quickly start the reform of ancient martial arts. The group of people came to the deepest part of the hall, where there was a circular high platform with a faint light emitting from it. Su Yang nodded lightly, and then suddenly asked curiously, Shuer, you have lived in Jiangbei for a few years. I remember that you had a very good relationship with Fuma. After you left, Fuma often talked about you. Do you already know that Fuma is the land warrior god? Wang Konggyun continued, instead of doing this, it is better to let us old guys help you and strive to start the ancient martial arts revolution as soon as possible. However, the gap between the peak and the peak is very large. Even if you go out, it will not have much effect. At most, it can suppress a few foundation building peaks, which is meaningless. At the same time, the originally weak light around the round platform suddenly became dazzling and exceptionally bright. Good. Su Yang did as he was told, soared into the air, and the next moment he appeared on the round platform, sitting cross-legged. Once the reform of ancient martial arts is successful, the ancient martial arts world will undergo earth-shaking changes. Qian Shangxiu agreed with Wang Konggyun's words. Hearing this, Qian Shangxiu nodded and said, Su Yang, Sect Master Wang is right. Let my grandfather and Fu's mother handle the external matters. Let's start the reform of ancient martial arts. Su Yang's eyes fell on Wang Konggyun and asked, Master Wang, there are so many foundation building peaks from the top 10 ancient clans, why don't we go out and take a look? Well. Buzz. Qian Shangxiu did not hide anything. She smoothed her hair in front of her forehead and smiled, well, before I came to Jiangbei, my grandma told me. My true identity was also known to Fu's mother, but I didn't let her tell her you, not even Grandpa Su and Uncle Su know. Soon. Wang Konggyun, who was standing next to him, urged, it's important to reform Gwu. Mr. Su, please come here. After this ancient martial arts revolution, I will definitely find a soft big bed and give you a good meal, Su Yang said with a playful smile. Master Su, please sit on the high platform, Wang Konggyun said. Abbot Yuantong of Mount Bodhi even clasped his hands together and recited Amitabha Buddha. Su Yang. In fact, this was indeed the case. Su Yang was surprised to find that he couldn't get out, and he was immediately shocked. Su Yang paused, then smiled bitterly and said, okay, it turns out that the Fuma who ruined the good news between me and my concubine at the riverside villa was you. No wonder I always feel that something is wrong with that Fuma. P.S. It's been a long time since I left a message. If you have any opinions, you can put them forward. I accept them humbly. Good. Wang Konggyun shook his head and turned to say, although we old guys have set foot on the land of martial gods, there are still some people who are at the peak of martial gods. Need not. Not only that, when Yu went to Jiangbei some time ago, I also found Fu's mother and asked her to use the disguise technique to disguise me into her appearance. Yeah. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 590. What happened? Su Yang frowned deeply, raised his fist, and punched out the samsara fist, but still couldn't shake the light curtain at all. Master Su, please don't move. This light curtain will not hurt you. As long as the ancient martial arts transformation is activated, the light curtain will automatically dissipate and you can come out at this time. Wang Kongyun stepped forward and explained. I see. Su Yang nodded and said, now that I'm sitting here, how can we start the transformation of ancient martial arts? I heard my master mention that to start the transformation of ancient martial arts, the blood of the descendants of the Su family is needed. Wang Kongyun smiled softly and said, Master Su, please drop the blood from your fingertips into the card slot in the lower right corner. Su Yang frowned slightly and did not immediately follow Wang Kongyun's instructions. Instead, he carefully looked around the round platform. Then, he was surprised to find that there was a formation around him, and it was a super formation. This formation can communicate with heaven and earth, and even block the secrets of heaven. It is very powerful. Buzz. At this moment, Su Yang raised his hand and placed it on the light curtain in front of him. With a thought, the next moment, dense patterns appeared on the light curtain. In addition, the entire hall was shrouded in runes, emitting bright light and terrifying power. This grand formation is based on the main hall. It is dotted all over the place and is complicated. What a great effort! Su Yang said with a horrified face, what initiates the transformation of ancient martial arts? This is obviously the activation of this formation. I understand, after the ancient martial arts system was created, the peak of land martial arts is the end, and there is no subsequent realm. And the master who arranged this formation wants to use his own power to continue the realm of the ancient martial arts system, so that the ancient warriors can go longer and further. It's just that this formation is too mysterious and unpredictable. Who can actually arrange such an formation? Could it be that he is the legendary figure who reaches the sky? Su Yang was filled with doubts, and suddenly thought of what Wang Kongyun had just said, and immediately asked, Master Wang, you said earlier that this formation requires the blood of descendants of the Su family to activate. Yes, Wang Kongyun nodded, not hiding anything. Isn't it rumored outside that the number 1 in the 100 sex martial arts competition is in compliance with the destiny, and only the number 1 is qualified to open it? Su Yang frowned and said, why are you telling me now that only the blood of descendants of the Su family can open it? Master Su, what you heard is not wrong. Those words were passed down by my master. Indeed, only the number 1 in the 100 sex martial arts competition is qualified to activate this grand formation and thereby start the transformation of ancient martial arts. Wang Kongyun smiled softly and said, but, my master has one more thing to say, and he only said it to me. That is, the first place in the martial arts competition among hundreds of sects must belong to the descendants of the Su family, and no one can take it away. Wang Kongyun continued, originally, I didn't believe it, and I didn't want to leave the future of the ancient martial arts world to an unfamiliar person, so I asked my disciple Wang Ye to take action to defeat you and let Wu Dan control everything. But it's a pity that my disciple failed and lost to you. It seems that my master's conclusion is correct. Wang Kongyun added, Master Su, I know you have many doubts in your heart, but I don't know much. I have told you everything now. This is good. The guide is equivalent to the key to the door, but with the key, it may not be able to open the door. Beyond the land martial god, you can be the martial lord, and then the martial saint. Su Yang bit his finger, dripped his own blood into the card slot, and then concentrated on studying the formation. This made Su Yang even more confused. Why is this formation related to him? Su Yang didn't know what this introduction was, but it was definitely unusual and something specific to the person setting up the formation. The introduction is right? Yeah, I got it. He has already seen that if he wants to open this great formation, he first needs an introduction. Wan Konggyun continued, there is another thing, that is, once this formation is opened and the ancient martial arts transformation is successful, as the initiator, Mr. Su can get the right to let 10 people he is familiar with step into that new realm in one step. Wan Konggyun nodded and said, no matter what the opponent's previous state was, as long as he is an ancient warrior and has true energy in his body, even if he is thousands of miles away, he can still receive gifts from the formation and instantly enter a new state above the land warrior god. Right. In other words, except Su Yang, no one in the world can make Gu Wu change. These two conditions are indispensable, and Su Yang fully meets them. According to what Wan Konggyun said, Su Yang learned that this introduction was the blood of a descendant of the Su family, so Su Yang chose to try it and it succeeded. However, it was important to start the reform of ancient martial arts, so Su Yang did not waste time and calmed down. Su Yang got a little excited, and then asked, what is the realm above the martial god on land called? It will not affect your future practice. It is not an enlightenment. You will even get benefits and your talents will be greatly improved. Your future achievements will be limitless. Okay, let's name it according to what Schwer said. Haha, it all depends on how Mr. Su chooses his name. If it is used incorrectly, it is equivalent to not having a key. No matter who sits on the round platform, they will not be able to open the formation. Wan Konggyun smiled and said, there is no realm above the land martial god, so naturally there is no name. Mr. Su, you are the pioneer, so you can call it whatever you want. Qian Shangxiu pondered for a moment, and then said, in the realm of the god of war, there is a divine word. It feels like it already belongs to the top realm of ancient martial arts. Qian Shangxiu first analyzed, and then said, in this way, it will be easier to reach the next level. You can choose anyone. Su Yang suddenly became interested. Su Yang nodded, then looked at Qian Shangxiu next to him, and asked, I'm not very good at naming. Schwer, what do you think is a more appropriate name? The reform of the ancient martial arts is imminent, and Mr. Su is requested to complete it as soon as possible, by the way. Haha, yes, Alliance leader Qian has a good idea. Wan Konggyun was the first to praise. Qian Shangxiu, Wan Konggyun, Abbot Yuan Tong, Du Kun, Su Yufeng, Zhang Tianli, and many others all agreed. Therefore, a master who is proficient in formations is needed to study the formations thoroughly. However, the current god of war has a prefix in front of it. The full name is Land God of War. Adding the word land makes it look low-end. Qian Shangxiu continued, beyond the martial saint, you can return to the martial god. Without adding a prefix, just use the word martial god to represent the strongest of the ancient martial arts system. How about that? Immediately afterwards, Su Yang nodded, then said, I already know the method of ancient martial arts transformation. I can open this formation myself. You can stay here. You can protect me and I cannot be disturbed. The second condition for opening a grand formation is even more difficult. You must be proficient in the formation.